everybody, and welcome to Rising Stars, where we showcase local Montreal talent on the rise. My name is Michael Vidakis, and I am very excited to be joined by Mr. Simon Theo. Simon, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Michael?
Amazing, amazing. There's been murmurs around the Trebas campus. You worked on a project a couple of weeks ago for Trebas.
I did.
I heard you were very talented. I heard you had great hair.
Yeah. They got cut a bit, but yeah, it was pretty spectacular.
Kind of walk me through that experience on set in Trebas, working for the short film.
Working for the short film?
Yeah.
Well, I've actually done a few of them recently for them, so it's always a lot of fun, right? I especially appreciate the fact that they take time. We do rehearsals and blocking beforehand, so that we do get to meet the other actors first, get a little relationship going, start to understand, and then you have just a little bit more to work with before the actual day, and then usually you show up. We're good to go on that. It's always lots of fun. These guys they're great. They're professional. I enjoy it, so I do it again.
Awesome. And how long have you been acting?
It's gonna go on 2 years now. I started late for what people usually do, but the pandemic was not great for me. I wanted to change. I needed a change, and I just dove headlong into this, and I found this, honestly, and it's a good guess.
Yeah. Was it something you always thought of doing? Was it just out of the blue?
Kind of out of the blue, yeah. I got the origin story to all this was that with work problems and all that, I got shook up by a friend and saying, like, what would you do if you could do anything? And I was not prepared to answer that question at all. And then just sitting there, and she said, no, answer me, pushing. I said, well, I want to be on TV. And she said, well, do that. Yeah. What do you have to do? And then I said, well, I guess I need acting classes. You need to do that. Yeah. Did a couple things, started as an extra for a couple of shows. And I rapidly found out that I did not want to be an extra. I would much rather be on the camera, like that other person. That's the job I want. So yes, the acting classes, the full-time program to throw myself in like the most possible without having to sacrifice 3 years. And then a lot of applying to whatever I can, getting as much experience as I can, and working. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. And was that really the first step? Because I remember because it's similar to your story, my acting journey started out of the blue.
Yeah.
I just saw a posting on Facebook.
Yeah.
I have no acting experience. I apply, and it just continues from there. Was it kind of the same thing? Did you just apply to a role? Did you start off slowly with acting classes and then start applying?
I started with a single acting class, an initiation to. I enjoyed it, and then I realized that it was moving slowly though. Yeah. So then I took a step back to plan this correctly, because I am doing this concurrently with my job. Okay. So I have to be efficient with my time. Yeah. So, and then I found the full-time program, threw myself into that head first, and then from there did not stop. So I'm still doing classes every week ever since that time. And I will fit in whenever I can, when I get the contracts and the short films and stuff like that.
Sure. The full-time program, is that at a specific school?
House of Actors.
House of Actors?
I've heard other interviewers talk about it. Yeah, I did that. I was in the second class that did it. So it was November 2021, I think. Yeah.
And that's an intense leap.
It is.
It's a rigorous schedule.
Yeah.
Working all the time. How did you like that? How did you, as an actor, new to the game?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's a very good first step. Yeah. It gives you a foundation for everything. Which like scene study and acting classes are fun, except they don't have the time to delve into all the rest of it that you need to help build character. Like sometimes it's always just moving a little bit differently, talking a little bit differently, but you get that in movement classes, you get that in voice and speech classes and things like that, which is not something that shows up in scene study. So it gave a very good working spot to work on, and then from there to build where I am now. So I highly recommend that as a starting point.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And I want to delve more into your training, but this question just popped into my head, so I feel inclined to ask. Is there one thing a teacher said to you while they were teaching that really hit you? Could have been a sentence or just one word that hit you as an actor.
I very much enjoy the idea. These are something that's I'm trying to drill into myself that I have heard a couple times, except you can never go too big. Or if you do go too big, like the best thing you could be told is dial it back.
Yeah.
Right? That's a really cool thing. Like I want to hear, Simon, that was really cool. Next time maybe not throw the couch. Like so you know you did that well. Yeah, that's the one where the teachers go with, like, because when I started I was gonna play the little roles a little bit more, and like, oh, these are normal people. Yes, but yes and no. They are normal people, but not under normal circumstances. So everything has to be like a little bit bigger, a little bit higher, and that was something that I had to work on.
For sure.
Because it's not usual. And I say it's a normal person, but he's not. It's not.
And as you said, you're 2 years into your acting journey.
Yep.
You're always finding out things about yourself. As you said at the beginning, you wanted to play little roles.
Yeah.
Now, are you kind of having fun with yourself, being like, oh, I want to play that big role? Have you seen a role on TV or film where you're like, I want that? Maybe?
Yeah. So I'm a little sad because when all this started out and I asked myself what role would I want to do, that role was, and this was 2 years ago, right? And it was, if they make a live action Legend of Zelda, I would love to be Link. And I said, and it's not close, so I have time to get it to become known and then be taken. But now I think they're going to be they're in talk because of Mario did so well. They're already, Universal's already in talks with Nintendo to make it. And I was like, oh no, I'm off by like a year.
Anything can happen.
It could. But yeah,
happen.
Link as the Legend of Zelda, that would be amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And in terms of your first year acting to your second year acting, what's the biggest progress you've seen? What are some blocks you crossed over as an actor?
That's a good one. So steps I've seen is it's more of I would say more of a mental a way how I approach rehearsing and approach scenes, right? So I'm the do big, can't go too big has become recently. That I find would be the biggest step between my first and my second. Like you can always push it more. And the more I do this, the higher I can start.
Yeah.
And then push it more. But like you don't, I used to start very low and then it takes time until we get to where we're supposed to be. I'm getting closer and closer. Okay. I'm happy at that. Not there yet by far, but moving along
it's
steadily.
It's always a work in process.
Yeah.
Of course. And are you represented by an agency?
No, not yet. I will look into that sometime soon.
Beautiful.
But I'm self-represented. I enjoy the way I'm doing it now, and I'm going to continue like this for a little bit.
Beautiful. Because that's why I wanted to ask, because I was self-represented for 3 years I was self-represented up until a couple months ago. And I wanted to ask you your process of getting gigs, because for me it was a lot of email hustling and on Facebook Messenger. What's your process
It's
like?
pretty much the same thing. So a lot of Facebook, a lot of word of mouth, like Kino and the people you know and things like that. A casting workbook, I will apply myself to what I can have access to. Gotten a few off of there too, and I've been doing this. I'm lucky enough that I've been doing it long enough, and with enough creative people that now they're starting to come back.
Yeah.
They have, hey, I have a new idea. I think you'd be good for this. You want to? And I'd be like, yes, I do. I'm always up for more. So that's where I'm at, and I'm honestly pleasantly surprised with how well it's going. So. Not to jinx it, but
no, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Happy.
Awesome. And let's say one of your friends came to you and said, "Simon, you inspire me. I want to start acting."
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you would give them?
The one piece of advice I would give them, I would say, you want if you want to make it, and you really want to make it, you want to be that person that everyone else considers too intense.
Yeah.
Too intense, because he's doing too much. He's not doing too much. He is doing exactly what he needs to do to get to where he wants to be. And that's the type of person you want to be. And that applies in a lot of things, right? Like bodybuilders work, they are way too intense with their food and with their working out. Well, that's what they have to do to get to Mr. Olympia. So it'll be the same thing in acting. Like, you want this person to, if it were you, I would tell you, you want to be so intense, you scare the other actors. That's what you want to do. And that is what will show up and what will be seen by all the others. Because they don't want someone timid or can do it well and they need pushing to. They want this little crazy person that they say, okay, if I can harness this, this will be amazing. That's what it'd be. So there, like, go over the top. There is no too intense, and do that.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting you brought up bodybuilding. I wanted to ask, is there any outside sources from acting? So no acting, but any outside sources, bodybuilders, athletes that kind of influence your acting? Because I know for me it does. Certain athletes kind of influence my acting.
Yeah, well, I don't have a specific place per se. What I do like doing now is imitating people and stuff that I see. Just like something I find was interesting, like a little more high-pitched voice and a little softer. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I'll try just doing that for a while, or doing it exactly like him. And then it kind of turns into something that I like, right? And then I do that for a bit. And then I was like, oh, cool, that was fun, right? And then I'll do it again with something else, whether it's people I see on TV or on the street or how they're walking. You're like, ooh, that's interesting. And then with practice, I like to think of it as two things. One, I'm practicing not being myself. So you're trying to get out of your own habits. That's not always easy, right? And it also just gives me a little repertoire of things that I can go get eventually. Oh, I have practiced this before. And without knowing, I might go use that to build another character. But it's already kind of there a bit. So.
For sure. And then bouncing off of that, do you have any exercises you do by yourself? Because I know for me, what I used to do, because I was kind of nervous in front of the camera. In rehearsal, I was good, and then the camera would turn on and I would freeze. So I would put a camera in my room and just walk around and act normal. And that kind of broke my shyness. Is there any exercises like that you do?
For shyness? Or
for just acting in general?
For just acting
any
in general?
Aspect,
No. Like, this is gonna sound kind of like a cop-out answer, but I don't have a problem with it. Like, I'm gonna say I'm lucky to be able to block out everything that's happening camera side. So like I've had this problem before where people are trying to sign something, and like if you do not tell me I need to look over there to receive something, I do not know what's going on. So I'll miss a few cues if they're trying to cue me and I didn't know I was supposed to have one. But no, I don't have a problem with camera shyness and stuff like that, luckily. So let's just play. Yeah, it's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of actors take years to get to that level of it's just play. You've got it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't like watching myself though. That is something completely different. But being on, like, knowing that people are filming me right now, I think that's not.
So no watching at all?
No, not at all. Like, I will do it if I have to, or like people want to see my things, I will watch it with them. But it's not. I do not sit down and restudy tapes of myself. No.
Awesome. No. Has there ever been a character you played where you said to yourself, oof, this is going to be a tough one, or I just don't know how to play this?
Yes. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, it happens all. I don't know how to play this. That one will happen often. That takes trial and error most of the time. Eventually you find your way of doing it, which might not necessarily be the vision, right? And that's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
But eventually you find your way. Some things hit a little too close to home. I find that's always difficult.
Yeah.
Pulling yourself, like you do create a distance between yourself and the character. This is not me, it's happening to James, whatever. But if it's very close to home, that distance is harder to maintain.
Yeah.
So there's always that. But I'm being, in my classes, I'm being stretched a lot in my range, and like as soon as I know when I'm in something that I'm not used to or within my range, it is difficult, and I do my best to get there. But I am a very talkative movie person, and I like movie as in like to move, right? And when I get characters that are just like super stoic, still, strong and silent, I'm like, ooh, that's not. Let's tap into something else because it's not me.
Yeah. We spoke about playing intense characters and your love of doing that. Is there a certain genre you would want to explore playing those characters, be it comedy, horror? Because they differ for each genre.
They do a lot. And the more this moves along, the less I've done. I have not done much of it, except I feel comedy is like in my wheelhouse. It's something that's fun. It's also very difficult, right? Because something that we were taught that was very like eye-opening was like, it's funny for you watching it. It is not funny for that person that's going through it. So that's always like a weird thing to balance. It is difficult. It's unpleasant, like in the moment for the character. But I love comedy, so I think I want to explore that more if I can get my hands on it.
Awesome. And what are some favorite comedy movies that are in your rotation of watching? I know I have mine.
I've got Slapstick.
Slapstick's
always a great one. I'm a big fan of cartoons, also Futurama, just like top notch. Quick like that. We went with actors, comedies. Letterkenny is
that's
underrated. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And who are some actors or musicians, artists in general that have really influenced you?
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
But that's only because before 2 years ago, I did not expose myself to the arts as much or at all to be honest. So I'm new to this and I'm learning this. And that is a fun thing. So I don't have a specific person to point to or anything, but I'm starting to get an appreciation for everything that's happening. So I'm exploring this part of myself through the arts and all this because I'm more of a like very Cartesian person, math, all that type of stuff. And this is new, and I'm learning to like finger paint and things like that, which is not something I usually do. And trying to express yourself, and that is not easy at all. Yeah. So I've got this newfound appreciation and a new look for what these people are able to do and how much of themselves they put into it. Yeah. So I find that inspiring more than anything else. As like a general like opening of like, wow, the arts. But I don't want to go through. I don't want to show up like that. But
no, for sure.
It is. The arts are important and they're good for people. And
they are.
So yeah.
And if heading forward into your career, if you could one day tell yourself, I, Simon Theo, the actor, would be most proud if my performance does this, what would that if be?
If my performance does this?
Let's say if my performance...
I would be, honestly, I just want to entertain people. Like, that's all I want to do. I want to, if I can make you laugh, that's the great moment for me. If I can make you cry, well, that could be a bad thing, but also could be a good thing. Yeah. Storytelling is entertaining is what I like to do, and entertaining people is what I want to do. So if I gave you a pleasant 5, 10, 20 minutes, I'm happy about that.
Awesome.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. And do you have anything in the works in terms of writing? Do you write your own stories? Do you...
I've started reading my
Yeah.
own stories, so I'm discovering that. It's not easy. It's a lot harder than I thought, especially writing dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, I can talk to people, but piece on paper, two sides of a conversation, that does not seem to work in my head, but I'm trying that out. I also have like I was saying, a couple script offers from friends that we are looking over, and we're going to see how we can put this into action.
For sure.
But nothing concrete as of this second.
Okay.
But good stuff coming along. I'm not worried that projects won't show up.
For sure. And my last question, if you could have one defining moment in your career, whether it be you play a certain movie or you win a certain award, what would it be?
I want to host Saturday Night Live.
You want to host Saturday
I
Night?
want to host
Nice.
Saturday Night
We
Live.
should switch seats.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Just that one time on top of Saturday Night Live, and it's for me it will be a culmination of a lot of stuff, right? Because to get there, all this stuff has to happen. No matter what all that stuff is, but all that has to have happened to get to being invited to host Saturday Night Live. And once you do that, I'd be like top of the world for a couple moments, and then reevaluate. But yeah, hosting Saturday Night Live.
For sure. So just off of that, quick, because a lot of actors, there is some Montreal actors who are trying to get on Saturday Night Live. Are you putting out content geared towards that? Are you?
I don't want to be part of. I just want to host
Host,
one day.
yes, it's
just
true.
host that one day. I want to be the special invite. I
Yeah.
get to do a couple things with the writers. They're so amazing. I want to work with them for a couple days and just have like these amazing ideas and people just throwing stuff at you. I say, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't do that yet.
Okay.
No, I will. Creating stuff is important. So especially like for yourself, for your own growth, to be able to control it a little bit more. It's fun to work on other people's projects. The downside is when it's done, you're just kind of waiting.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So creating, that's why I want to create my own things too. We'll see. I'll learn a lot from what they're doing, learn a lot for what else is happening around the camera and how to finalize something, but not content creating or something like that. No, that's not in my wheelhouse.
For sure. And just on a signing off note, do you have any projects coming up you want to shout out and that we should be looking for heading forward?
That we should shout? Yeah, sure. I will give a shout out to Spectral, which was the pilot we did here, which was the long hair and the crazy moment with only like we had one shot for me to die, and like all the blood has to come out, it has to hit the shirt correctly, it has to be framed within the window, can't move too far. We had one, we did it, that was great, it looks amazing. I'm excited to see the end result of this. Yep.
Yeah. I want to watch it too, it sounds good.
It was fun.
Awesome.
It was a lot of fun. Yep.
Awesome. Well, Simon, thank you so much. It was
Thank
a
you.
real pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.